right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Business Showcase series. Today, I'm with
Matthew Plexman.
We're at Plexman Studios at 11 Carlaw Avenue in beautiful Leslieville. I'm happy that we're sitting here today because we are talking about business. We're talking about all the things that have happened over the last little while. And my first question for you is, how long have you been in this business? And tell me a little bit about your journey to where we are today.
All right, I have actually been in business, according to LinkedIn, for 40 years now when I started my business. I used to work out of my house for many, many years until the birth of my son was imminent, and I decided to move out of the house, get a studio. I ended up down here at 11 Carlaw, and I shared a studio for 17 years with two other photographers, a couple of units over, and 11 years ago had the opportunity to buy this particular unit. And my wife and I, we took the risk, we bought it. It was a bit of a stretch at the time, but man, it was the best thing we ever did. And having a place that was our place and not shared with other photographers was key. Mm-hmm. And that way we can offer the services we want, when we want, configure the place the way we want it, decorate it the way we want it.
Exactly. And let's say your landlord decides to sell.
Exactly.
Right? Now you've got to pick up and go, and it's a major interruption to normal business.
Which is what instigated this whole, the purchase of this unit in the first place, because the landlord decided to sell the unit.
The last one. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. Let's talk about Leslieville. Why'd you choose this part of Leslieville, and why do you like Leslieville in general?
Originally, I chose this location, and my studio has always been at 11 Carlaw. I chose this location because it was relatively close to my house. I live in Riverdale.
So it was mostly because of the geographic kind of location of where you live. Are there things to the community or the area that you've recognized over the last, let's call it 20, 30 years? How long have you been here?
Well, one of the actually major benefits to being where we are here is that it's close to downtown. Most of our clients are corporate clients who have offices on Bay Street, and it is very easy for them to get to us, and it's easy for us to get to them.
So you mentioned taking risks, and I'm one where I've got a pretty high risk tolerance, because I think that's how you grow. You got to push the envelope. So tell me, operating a business during COVID, I know hasn't been easy. I'm sure you've been impacted. So talk a little bit about the risk of owning a business, and then some of the challenges that you've had to face and how you've overcome them. I mean, it could be something recent, or it can be something in the past where you've had to really step outside of your comfort zone to keep things moving.
We're always stepping outside of our comfort zone, depending on the kind of job that comes along. Photographers in general are always growing, always learning new things. During the last couple of years with the pandemic, it's been certainly a challenge, because I photograph people. Everything just, with the shutdowns in March of 2020, everything just stopped. And very thankful to both levels of government here that they really stepped out and helped us stay alive, and didn't have to sell the property, and we were able to pay our employees, and here we are. We're still going, and since August, I've really seen things pick up again, almost to the level they were pre-COVID.
So when you say corporate clients, tell me a little bit about what that means. What's your bread and butter?
Our real bread and butter is we do corporate portraits, which many people refer to as headshots. We service a lot of the major law firms on Bay Street, as well as their offices in different cities across Canada and in the States sometimes, which is always fun. That's our bread and butter. Headshots, we do a lot of photography for their websites as well, for recruitment. We call it interactive photography, where we'll photograph a couple of people in a meeting, or several people in a meeting, or chatting in a hallway. The feel-good photography on a website that really gives a sense of the culture of a company.
What are some, look, everybody's got a phone these days, so everybody is a photographer in one way or another, but not professional, obviously. I happen to be a Instagram dad photographer. My wife is on social media, so I'm given the task of taking photos very often, and then I'm given feedback that the photos aren't the best, or they could have been done differently, or I should have looked at a different angle. Do you have any tips for people that are getting into photography or thinking about getting into photography that they can do to improve their skills? And then how can they, do what you're doing? Like, how did you go from being, a student to becoming, an experienced individual, and then being good enough to operate your own business?
Wow. Practice. Lots of practice, lots of experience. Over the course of my career, I photographed almost everything. And you just keep refining what you do, take a shot, look at it and say, what would make this better? One thing that I tell some of the interns that I'll have in here is, find something that you really like. Find an image that you really like and dissect it. Figure out how the photographer did it. Figure out how he might have lit it or what sort of lens he might have used. Is there shallow focus? Is everything in focus? Just dissect it and then go out and try and play with that sort of thing. One issue, everybody's shooting on smartphones now, and one of the big problems with smartphones, for the most part, is that everything is in focus. So if you have one of the phones with multiple lenses and you can start to play with focus, that can really help differentiate what you're doing. If you're taking a picture of a person, your children, a baby, whatever, try to go for shallow focus instead of having everything from 3 inches in front of the camera to infinity in focus. Experiment.
Gotcha. Experimenting, yeah. And patience. I think patience is a big one as well.
Yeah. And look at what you've shot and figure out how you could do it better next time. Just don't keep shooting and shooting and shooting, which most people tend to do with phones. And then they never look at it again or never delete anything.
Exactly. Yeah, I know. I have pictures from, I remind myself these days, if you're going to take a picture, make sure it's important enough that you're going to want to go back and look at it. Yeah. As opposed to just shooting everything and anything.
Yeah. And make sure it's backed up somewhere. You don't want to lose all your family photos if you lose your phone.
That's true. That's true. How important is the space when it comes to, having solid photos? I mean, could you do this business anywhere? Or does it have to be the space with these 30-foot ceilings and you don't have any windows in here, right?
No.
Is that on purpose?
A lot of photographers absolutely want to have windows. Food photographers, for the most part, want to have windows. The kind of photography I do, I don't want windows. I just want a nice big space that I can set up my own lights and do whatever I want. And I've got quite a variety of different lighting modifiers, lights that are 7 feet across and lights that are 1 foot across. And so I can do all kinds of different things. We do photography on location, on the office towers on Bay Street. And we do the same thing there that we will do in here in terms of portraits. We'll set up a little studio in one of their boardrooms. Over the past couple of years, having our own studio, which is large with a lot of airspace, has been hugely beneficial. I know photographers who basically had no business over the last 2 years because they don't have a studio.
Yeah, it's very important, exactly. And again, another really good reason why having your own space gives you the ability to now, if you have to adapt, if you have to change things up, you have that freedom to do it. Yeah. And nobody can really tell you what you can and cannot do.
Exactly.
Have there been any recent projects of any local businesses that you've done that you can think of? Local to Leslieville or Riverdale?
Nothing typical, nothing really local, no. The bulk of our business over the past couple of years has been portraits. We've done a few quite a bit larger jobs, but those have not been at all local. They've been we did a huge job for a large company that operates 110 cemeteries across the country. And we did just an amazing day of location shooting with models and hairstylists and clothing stylists and 2 assistants. In October. That was just a phenomenal day. We shot for 12 hours, just put together a beautiful library of images for them. I suspect they'll want to do more imagery in different cemeteries across the country, hopefully next year. Hopefully they'll hire us, and we can build on that library. The things that I've done locally have all been portraits in the past while. We have a service that we call Friday Photos, and we have a specific page on our website, and at least twice a month, depending on demand, we put together a day where people can book a time slot of 45 minutes and come in here, go into our, sit with our hair and makeup person, and then be photographed in the lighting style which is typical to their company, or if they have something in mind, we can change it up and do that for them, and then we'll put together a package for them. And that's one of our most popular offerings, especially during COVID, because there's a lot of space. I wear a face shield and a mask, and the hair and makeup person does as well, and it's all very safe.
I mean, the fact that it's interactive, and then you give people an opportunity to give you their comments and tell you what they like, and that you work together. I mean, that's huge. That's important, as opposed to, kind of imposing your style or your the way you see things.
With portraits of people, you've got to come up with something that they love and they're going to be proud to use for the next few years. There's so many corporate portraits, especially, or headshots. You look on some websites and people look so awkward, or it's like, why would you use that photo? You don't look intelligent, you look awkward, and you don't look confident. You need to work with the subject and find something. First of all, you have to relax them, because everybody comes in here and they're nervous because they don't know what to expect, they don't know what to do. So we talk to them, relax them. You don't have to know what to do. We're just going to talk, and we're going to take some pictures. And we end up with something that they absolutely love, and usually they say that's so much better than what I've been using for the past whatever years, and they leave here extremely happy.
That's great.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm obviously glad to hear that. That means that you're going to be around a long time.
Hopefully.
Yeah. So how do you market the business? How do you advertise? I mean, tell us, you have a website, obviously, right?
Website, and we do a bunch of SEO optimization. We send out to our regular clients and to a list of people we'd like to work for. We send out email blasts advertising our services, both for the Friday Photos and for our other services, the lifestyle photography for advertising and whatnot. So those are basically our avenues of marketing now.
And word of mouth, I'm sure there's a lot of
There's a lot of word of mouth.
Yeah. Do you have any signs up anywhere?
Nope. No signs. In fact, I mean, the sign in front of our in front of our unit here is pretty darn small. We're not allowed to have a big sign, and that's fine by me. I don't want a big sign. People walk in and go, wow, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it is. I mean, you could almost turn this into a loft and people would live here. Like you could make,
it's a gorgeous space. It has become my second home. I spend a lot of time here. A lot of time working up in my office. And
so what's the website? What's the address?
It's Plexman, Plexman.com.
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 It's pretty simple.
Yeah.
And you have social media? You have an Instagram account?
Instagram. Yeah, mostly Instagram, although we find that our corporate clients aren't that interested in Instagram, so we don't push it that much. I'm not on it every day like a lot of people would be. My biggest presence is on LinkedIn, and we try to keep our blog updated with interesting stuff that we do, and I'm about to put a bunch of historical stuff on the blog, historical videos that we've done in the past for fun, some very interesting stuff that we've done.
And what about your project? Are you gonna?
Yeah, so my art project, I'm going to keep working on that. I'm actually thinking of another one right now. Hope to travel across the country and do landscapes and portraits of recent immigrants.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Where did that idea come from?
It's from a museum out in Halifax. They put out a call for a virtual artist residency, and a friend sent it to me, and it got me thinking, and we're putting together a proposal. Might not get it, If I don't get it, I might do it anyways. I don't know.
Gotcha.
But portraits and landscapes, those are my two things. So if I can combine the two,
You're in
it's
heaven.
fantastic.
You're in heaven.
Yeah.
Well, Matthew, thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's been a great chat. And, we'll put up the website, we'll put up the address so people can find out more about you. If they've got corporate clients or maybe they themselves want some headshots for their business. I know for me and my business, that's super important. And keeping them up to date or I guess recent. Versus I know some real estate agents, you see their image, it's like they're like 32 and then you meet them, they're 65. It's like, well, it's a little bit different than the picture.
You want to stay somewhat up to date. Yes.
Yeah, you want to stay recent. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Cool. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And we'll see you guys. We'll see you later.
Been a pleasure.
Bye-bye.